Here we are, ladies and gentlemen, back on Bounding into Comics. We're going to talk about Kathleen Kennedy being a fun sucker. And no, I don't mean that the way you probably think I do. No, she has removed, extracted, systematically taken away the fun out of my favorite franchise, Star Wars. What?
Etep, I couldn't help but overhear you talking about Kathleen Kennedy.
Oh no. Oh no.
Yes, it is I, future ruler of the Upper Peninsula of Michigan, Doomtep, with my fluffy kitty, Mr. Beans.
Why? Why? What the hell do you want?
I, of course, come giving you good news, Etep.
Again, this is the second time you've interrupted one of my videos.
I only interrupt because I come bringing huge news, a guarantee. Wait, you were talking about Kathleen Kennedy, weren't you?
Yes, I'm talking about Kathleen Kennedy.
Well, this is cause for the big news to be delivered.
Why don't you do this on your own channel?
I thought it would only be fitting to come here and share this news. Great tidings with you, Etep. But if you don't want them...
Look, man, we all know you go to Reddit for all your shit.
That is a fallacy spread by ne'er-do-wells on Twitter.
Here we go. Don't mind me. I'm just gonna return some messages while you're...
Time for the big news. Now, roll the intro.
I'm sorry, roll what?
Yes, it is I, Doomtep, future ruler of the Upper Peninsula of Michigan, with my fluffy kitty, Mr. B.
Okay, this is all new.
Today,
Oh, yeah.
I can most assuredly
look at me.
tell
I
you,
looked on Reddit.
beyond a shadow of a doubt, my friends.
Okay,
that
come on.
Tomorrow,
You're not telling us
8:15 a.m. on the dot, Kathleen Kennedy will most certainly be fired.
Again?
That's it. Doom
Really?
Out, bitches.
Again? Monkeys, roll the footage.
Yeah, that works.
I like
all right,
that a lot.
okay. All right, moving on.
Hey, what about Tulip?
Lucasfilm President Kathleen Kennedy admits the company has taken the fun out of Star Wars. This article came out yesterday on Bounding into Comics. I did not have a chance to get to cover it because I was dealing with a lot of YouTube stuff behind the scenes yesterday, but here we are. Oh, and we're over on Odyssey now at Etepokuin's, the place to be reviews as well. You can check us out over there. Our first upload was the first edition of WCW Monday Nitro. I'm going to upload all of those over there as well, put them in a playlist there, and then start uploading the daily videos over there as well, so we can cover all our bases and see which platform. Like I said, I'd like to build up over on Odyssey as well too. So if you're over on Odyssey, light that fire button up, give us a follow. Let's get into this article. As we see a picture of Bob Iger, Jon Favreau, and
Kathleen Kennedy. Yes, she will be fired this morning. Oh wait, it's already past 8:15 Eastern. Shit.
In a wide-ranging piece in Vanity Fair about all Star Wars projects Lucasfilm is working on, Kathleen Kennedy discussed her failures with Solo: A Star Wars Story, how Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni came together to create The Mandalorian, and what her plans are for Star Wars moving forward.
Nothing.
At the very end of the article, Kennedy detailed that she had a realization after watching a video montage of herself, George Lucas, and Steven Spielberg when she received the Milestone Award from the Producers Guild of America. She told Vanity Fair, "What I was so taken with is how much fun we were having. It amounted to this moment of realization. I do think a little bit of fun has gone out of making these gigantic movies. The business, the stakes, everything that's been infused in the last 10 years or so. There's a kind of spontaneity and good time that we have to be careful to preserve. I keep holding on to it. It better be fun," she added. Well, Kathleen Kennedy, the problem is...
What a stupid son of a bitch.
You're a terrible person. You're a feminist, an intersectional feminist at that, which those two things add up to a completely horrible, horrible human. And you have put that into an over 40-year-old IP that people loved. and you've turned it into something that people like me loved, spent a lot of time, a lot of money invested in, and you've ruined it in a decade. When it's been around for 4 decades, longer than I've been on this earth, there has been Star Wars. You're talking to somebody, and I say this a lot because it's not meant to high sign or anything, but in 1 year, I spent $5,000 on Star Wars toys. Horrible when you say it out loud, but I love Star Wars. I am a collector. I've passed this love on to my son. He loves Star Wars. He's, seen the prequels and the original trilogy countless times. We share that love. I've passed that on to him. And how terrible is it now that we really can't watch anything new together and enjoy it? Because the last thing we watched together that was new and really, really enjoyed it was The Mandalorian. And I know there's the contingent out there in our corner of the fandom that hates The Mandalorian, and that's fine. I'm fine with that. For everything that the creators did wrong, that show wasn't great by any stretch of the imagination, but it was the most enjoyable Star Wars we've gotten since Rogue One. Rogue One was the most passable Disney movie, and even though it had a pair of leads that are absolutely forgettable in Diego Luna, and I can't even think of the gal's name that played Jyn Erso. It'll probably pop into my head at some point during filming this, but they're so forgettable. And what do? They reward that by making a Cassian Andor show that nobody wanted. It's absolutely hilarious. You take these characters that nobody wants, and then you're like, here, have a show. Like, I understand the Ahsoka show, even though I'm not a fan of the character. I understand the show because there's a large contingent of the fans that are, supporters and fans of Ahsoka and that character. Do I think the casting is accurate? I think that Rosario Dawson is actually a good choice for the role. She looks the part in full character and regalia. It looks fine. Still doesn't make me like the character anymore, but I can understand, and I can just say, hey, you know what? If there's people that enjoy the Ahsoka Tano story, then enjoy it. By all means. I don't want to take anybody's enjoyment away from anything. That's where people like me, myself, the people that I associate with are. But the thing is, we would like that through the properties of reciprocity, to come back to us and give us things that we enjoy without being hit over the head with contemporary identity politics and ideological garbage that doesn't belong in Star Wars.
Yup!
Star Wars is based in a galaxy far, far away, a long time ago, in a galaxy far, far away. So to say that, well, we have to have this, we have to check all these boxes is ridiculous. It's not even the same galaxy. Why would we have to have equal representation? And I'm not saying I want to see the entire cast be white. That's not what I'm saying at all. I'm saying as far as the humans go, it should be a mix of everybody. And if there are not as many as another, then that shouldn't really matter, because humans, there's room for everybody. There's room for everybody. But you don't take these modern themes and then build your entire story around those and say they're Star Wars, because that's not Star Wars. That's propaganda wrapped, thinly veiled, I might add, in, Star Wars facade, which is ridiculous. There was always societal messaging into Star Wars. George Lucas did that, the maker, the guy that created it. George Lucas did that himself. He put that in. But it was subtle. It was well done. It was intelligently done, which is a problem because these new creators and people under the rule of
Kathleen Kennedy
are not creators. They're not writers. They're activists. And I've said this time and time again, that this kind of messaging does not have a place in things like this. And then you're going to say, well, it's for children. But if we insult something you like that is supposed to be quote unquote for children, you have every right to defend it, but we don't have every right to defend this. And this goes back to what I said about gatekeeping in fandoms. We'll focus on the fandom side in particular here. Gatekeeping in fandoms is honestly not a bad thing, because look at what we have now. You have an entire contingent of Star Wars fans that are Reylos. And these people act like they're not Star Wars fans. They're fans of horribly written characters that were put in for reasons that are ideologically based. And now this group of weirdos from Tumblr has, claimed this sect of and you can have those characters. That's absolutely fine. But don't try to insult other members of the fandom who don't like those characters because they are garbage tier. We can say that all day because it's true. They are garbage tier characters. Rey is a Mary Sue. Rey is absolutely a Mary Sue, and a terrible one at that. Kylo Ren is an emo wimp who constantly gets upstaged by his female counterpart when he's supposedly more trained than her, and it makes no sense. I don't need to rehash those horrible plot points from Disney because it's garbage. Talking about Kathleen Kennedy is bad enough. Here's 3 assholes in this picture. Pedro Pascal, an absolute pile of shit. The ignorant one herself, Kathleen Kennedy, and the cuck that enabled all these idiot identitarians, Bob Iger. While Kennedy is clearly discussing the making of films, and that, under her leadership, a little bit of fun has gone out. The lack of fun on the creative end that has also been reflected in the end of the product. Droves of people tuned out as Kennedy released each subsequent Disney Star Wars film that can be seen in the film's box office haul. With The Force Awakens earning over $2 billion in 2015, The Rise of Skywalker in 2019 barely grossed over $1 billion. The grosses decline nearly 50%. Over the course of 3 movies, the decline was 50%. Yes, all 3 of them made $1 billion. It's a layup to make $1 billion. Even Rogue One made $1 billion. Force Awakens, it was the first Star Wars film since 2005, and that came out in 2015. So you're talking 10 years. The fan base was hungry for that. And then, after everybody figured out that was just a rehash of A New Hope, poorly done by Jar Jar Abrams, you led into Rogue One, it was like, okay, this is all right. It was a war movie that happened to have Star Wars in it. The Battle of Scarif at the end of that movie is almost on par with, some of the battles in the original trilogy, in my opinion. It was great. If that whole movie had been based around that battle, and you could have taken, 50% of the other stuff out, and then injected more Scarif and that into it, it would have been even better. It would have, because that was amazing. So it could be done, but like I said, the Darth Vader reshoots at the end of that movie really helped it as well. Last Jedi, like I said, I don't need to discuss that. Rise of Skywalker, don't need to discuss that. Solo lost money through the hubris of Kathleen Kennedy. That's why. And then there's the bastardization of Luke Skywalker, which is unforgivable. Along with people checking out of Star Wars en masse, you also had creatives like Rian Johnson and J.J. Abrams suck the fun out of the franchise when they decided to attack the fans. In 2018, Abrams claimed that Star Wars fans were threatened by having Rey be the trilogy's main protagonist. He told IndieWire, and IndieWire is a hive mind of insane leftist garbage. Their problem isn't Star Wars, their problem is being threatened. See, this is so wrong. And J.J. Abrams is a complete cuck. We know that. His whole, we need to dismantle white comfort. Any white person that is that self-loathing is projecting internalized racism and bigotry. And that's the God's honest truth. It is. They are projecting their bullshit onto you and onto me. He elaborated, Star Wars is a big galaxy, and you can sort of find almost anything you want to in Star Wars. If you are someone who feels threatened by women and needs to lash out against them, you can probably find an enemy in Star Wars. That's every time somebody insults one of their poorly written, intersectional feminist characters, that's their go-to. You're just misogynist. You're just threatened. You're just scared. Nobody's scared of the... We loved Ripley in Alien. We loved Linda Hamilton, Sarah Connor in Terminator. There wouldn't have been such an outpouring of support for Gina Carano when she was wrongfully terminated or her contract not renewed by Lucasfilm because she spoke out against their narrative, and she was right. She was correct in what she said. What she said wasn't anti-Semitic. Come on. I mean, that's such a bullshit lie. And then we're just supposed to accept these lies. That we're all misogynists, we're all incel neck baby man, neckbeard man babies, that are afraid of strong women. It's ridiculous. I hated the idea of the She-Hulk show, not because of She-Hulk, because let's be honest, I I'm a fan of She-Hulk. I'm a fan of women that are a little bit built. I like that. I do. I enjoy that. I like it. Especially She-Hulk, you know, because She-Hulk was all in the comics before this garbage tier stuff now where she's basically Hulk with a ponytail and a crop top. Jennifer Walters was always, you know, a sexy, funny, fourth wall breaking character, you know, before they turned her into a, you know, a murderer, fucking horrible character. You know, she was great. And the thought that I'm going to be told that I'm afraid of that is absolutely hilarious. My favorite part of the trailer of the She-Hulk show was when she picked the dude up and carried him to the bedroom. I'm like, death by snoo.
You want die like last men visit Amazonia?
What'd they die of?
Crushed pelvises.
Yes!
Oh, thank you, Lord in heaven. What are you, gay?
I do have to question the fact, since they did CGI Tatiana Maslany, why they made her skip leg day. That was a little bit vexing. Body's a little off balance, but okay, you know, whatever. We're not going to be picky. It's probably not going to be a great show. Oh, and fuck Mark Ruffalo. Oh, poor Jojo. Mark Ruffalo, you're a cuck bitch. Let's get back to the article, shall we? You can probably look at the first movie that George Lucas did, Star Wars A New Hope. Well, just Star Wars. It was later named A New Hope. And you say that Leia was too outspoken or she was too tough. Anyone who wants to find a problem with anything can find the problem. The internet seems to be made for that, he declared. Well, that's the thing. First of all, let's look at this. Look at this dick-nosed fucking prick. I mean, this guy is just a fucking wimp.
Fuck that puto!
I've been a Star Wars fan since I was 3 years old. I have never once taken issue with anything Leia did. I never thought she was too outspoken, too bitchy, too pushy, too overbearing. I thought she was simply reacting appropriately to each situation she was in, you know, and until the sequel trilogy. Then it just became shite. But there was no issue with anything Leia did in the original trilogy at all. At all. This is conjecture. This is made up nonsense. This is lies by Jar Jar Abrams. Nobody said that about Princess Leia. That small vocal minority you're always talking about when you describe people like me, who are actually the majority. Jar Jar, you weak-ass prick. He's got little hands, too. What a bitch. Look, he's got baby hands. I bet you he was one of the ones that made fun of Trump's hands for being small. Not only do you literally have the line of a dick down the middle of your nose, but you have little girl hands, too. Motherfucker probably can't even palm a baseball. Rian Johnson would infamously describe Star Wars fans as man-babies, tweeting back in June of 2018, what we talk about when we talk about man-babies. Let me read that right. What we talk about when we talk about man-babies.
Shut up, bitch!
He would then respond to one user who said you ruined Star Wars, tweeting, okay, I have to draw the line at you dragging your drooly little man-baby butt across the wheel of fortune and answer the count. Back to the swamp. You're free. Blocked. What a bitch. Like, I can't. These are the people that are directing multi-million-dollar movies and that make billions of dollars. But if you criticize them, they will lash out at you like they're a pissed-off toddler, because that's what Rian Johnson is. A fat, weak, ineffectual little auteur who should stick to Knives Out because he did a good job with it. He did a good job with Knives Out. Looper was shit, and that's the only other movie of his I've ever seen. I've seen Last Jedi, Looper, and Knives Out, and I enjoyed Knives Out. I hated Looper. I thought it was a stupid concept. Kennedy also took the fun out when she decided to fire Gina Carano from The Mandalorian over an Instagram story post warning of the dangers of hating your neighbors. Gina was absolutely right. Gina wasn't fired, though. Her contract simply was not renewed. Before she fired Carano, she admitted her entire plan with Star Wars was to fundamentally change it from the beginning. Kennedy admitted she took the boys brand in Star Wars and wanted to make it a girls brand. She explained, I think the interesting path we've had is the conversation that took place around consumer products, because there were a lot of companies that were in place who frankly didn't initially feel that Star Wars was for girls. Kennedy elaborated. And when you have a company situation where between Lucasfilm and Disney, we were all looking at this situation saying, no, with Star Wars, we have to change this. We have to make sure we can create products that are in a sense appealing to both boys and girls. What's wrong with that? The girls that liked Star Wars as it was. They did. They liked Star Wars as it was. because if they wanted an all-girls story, they could go find it elsewhere. This is the problem with people like this that are so small-minded they have to see themselves in everything. Not everybody is as stupid as you, Kathleen. She would go on to admit that her goal was to emphasize identity politics in the films and TV shows. The fact that the company was bought by the Walt Disney Company has been amazing because there's very much support for the fact we're trying to grow and work to force a number of women executive positions and in all positions inside the company. See, in here, nothing wrong with hiring women, but hire them when they're qualified for the position that they're fucking going for. Don't just say, hey, you. Do you know what Marvel is? Do you know anything about the Marvel comics? No? Okay, you can be the head of fucking Marvel. Because that makes sense. Sanaa Amanat, Victoria Alonso. And with the movies that we are making and with the protagonists that we are putting in the stories, so I get a huge amount of support with that, Kennedy continued, because nobody could tell this bitch no because she's married to a marshal. She then touted, but we have 50% of our executive team are women, and 6 out of 8 people in my story group are women. And I'm sure there's a lot of people that would be surprised that we're making Star Wars movies and the majority of the people involved in the development of those stories are women. And I think it's making a huge difference in the stories we're trying to tell. Yes, because they're fucking terrible. They're fucking terrible. You're not hiring women that love Star Wars. You're hiring intersectional feminist fucking trash. That's what you're hiring. You stupid fucking cow. I would like for somebody to take whatever it is Kathleen Kennedy holds most near and dear to her and fucking ruin it. Slowly and methodically ruin it. Take every bit of joy and enthusiasm she has, if she has any joy and enthusiasm for anything. People like her are mostly nihilists because I don't see her finding joy or happiness in anything other than the misery of people who have spent almost my entire life loving this brand and this franchise. These stories that came from it. That's the problem. That's why I'm so passionate about Star Wars. It's hard to imagine that Kennedy will be able to inject any fun back into Star Wars when she's one of the main reasons it was removed in the beginning. However, she did claim she has a roadmap that the beginnings of seemingly put together just before The Rise of Skywalker is released in 2019. Kennedy revealed, we all recognized, every single one of us, that this was a new chapter for the company, that we needed to all work together to create the architecture for where we are going. As for what they came up with for theatrical releases, it will include films from Thor Love and Thunder director Taco Tuesday.
Come on.
And Wonder Woman director Patty Jenkins' Rogue Squadron movie, which...
What a stupid son of a bitch.
What doesn't appear to be on Kennedy's roadmap is a film produced by Marvel Studios' Kevin Feige.
Fuck that puto!
Despite writer Michael Waldron recently admitting he's already begun work on the script. The cast of The Mandalorian right there, the beautiful Gina Carano, looking like the Disney princess she is. And then the fucking dumb whore down here. Waldron was asked by Variety, now that you're done with this movie, how far along are you with the Star Wars movie you're working on with Feige? He answered, we're finally into it in earnest. I mean, I'm writing away. It's a lot of fun. I'm enjoying having freedom on that to do something that's not necessarily a sequel or anything. It just doesn't have a bunch of TV shows and movies that you're servicing on top of it the way I did with Doctor Strange. So it's nice. It feels a bit different. It feels like a different exercise, he concluded.
Yada, yada, yada.
Despite Waldron claiming he's working on a script for Kevin Feige-produced Star Wars film, Kennedy told Vanity Fair, I would love to see what movie he might come up with, but right now, no, there isn't anything specifically. So maybe the roadmap was lifted from the Goofy movie and was rewritten when Kennedy wasn't looking. Kennedy was clear that Rian Johnson's announced trilogy is not happening. Telling Vanity Fair, Ryan has been unbelievably busy with Knives Out and the deal he made at Netflix for multiple movies. Liar! Vanity Fair described Johnson's trilogy as backburnered. No, it's not. She said it's not fucking happening, Vanity Fair, but we're Vanity Fairsies. Oh my God. So it's just shelved, okay? No, it's not happening. It's not happening. It was never gonna fucking happen. That moon-faced fucking bitch. Not only did Kennedy admit that under her leadership she drained the fun out of Star Wars and aims to try to recapture it, but as noted above, she discussed her failures with Solo: A Star Wars Story and the casting of Alden Peckerwood as young Han Solo. There should be moments along the way where you learn things, Kennedy said. Now it does seem so abundantly clear that we can't do that. Another failure Kennedy admits is the constant rotating of creatives at the helm of Star Wars. She now says that creatives have to commit to at least 3 years minimum. Kennedy detailed, anyone who comes into Star Wars universe needs to know it's a 3, 4, 5-year commitment. She added, that's what it takes. You can't step in for a year and shoot something and then walk away. It kind of requires that nurturing. So there you have it, folks. Darth Kennedy is an absolute fun sucker. She is the succubus of fun. I mean, I don't know if that's redundant or not. I look at Kathleen Kennedy's body of work as far as being the head of Lucasfilm. And yes, we see the downward trend cinematically in box office returns. We see the toys on the shelves. And you can't gaslight us and tell us that you're a small local minority who's not happy with anything because we ruined your child. No, those excuses are over. We've watched it now for what, the better part of 5 years. The gaslighting, the insults, you know, the harassment on Twitter by creators who work for Lucasfilm. We've seen Kennedy. We've seen her motives play out. It's obvious this woman is a joyless void of misery and feminism. And that's what happens to intersectional feminists and feminists in general, is they don't know how to enjoy anything. They're just miserable. They're just miserable people. And that's not what Star Wars is about. That's not who should be heading up Lucasfilm. We are stuck with this absolutely horrible human being running Lucasfilm. She's running Lucasfilm like the captain of the Titanic, straight into the iceberg and to sink it once and for all. So none of us will have this IP to enjoy anymore. And that, my friends, is a terrible thing. It's a good thing for physical media, the originals, the prequels, and, you know, the EU, I guess, if you're an EU person. So, the original EU. So there you have it, folks. Darth Kennedy's an idiot. I'm done. You know what to do. Do all the YouTube things. Members, y'all get thanked proper at the end of the video. Thank you to all my Kazooians. Thank you to all my subscribers. Everybody watching, sharing the videos, coming into the chat and the live streams. You don't know how much that means to us here at the channel. We appreciate you. And I'm Itepukuian from The Place to Be Reviews.
I have been here with all of yous.
If I don't see you, have a great day, a pleasant tomorrow,
And I will catch you
on the next one.
Get your own.
Take that, you bitch!
No! What the hell?
How'd you like that?
Hey, joke's on you. I have hepatitis.